Discipline. Sounds boring, but it's basically the cheat code for getting what you want in life. No magic, no superpowers, just that get up and do it attitude, even when your couch feels like your best friend. In this video, we'll break down how tiny, consistent actions turn you into an unbreakable version of yourself. No hero cape needed, just the power of showing up. Let's keep it short, sharp, and maybe even a little funny. Because discipline doesn't wait, and neither should you. Discipline is like that personal trainer in your head, sometimes annoying, always pushing, but ultimately the one that gets you where you need to be. And solitude? That's like the perfect gym for this trainer. When you're alone, it's just you, your thoughts, and your goals. No distractions, no one to impress, just pure focus. It's in these moments, when nobody else is watching, that real discipline gets built, bit by bit, habit by habit. Think about it. When you're in solitude, there's no one to judge you if you hit that snooze button 5 times. But also, there's no one to cheer you on if you get up on the first try. That's what makes it powerful. Your motivation has to come from within. It's those quiet moments when you decide to push yourself, even if it's just for an extra 5 push-ups, or to skip the mindless scrolling on your phone. Each choice is like a small promise to yourself. The thing about solitude is that it strips away all the fluff. You're left with just you and the challenge of sticking to what you said you would do. Sure, it's tempting to go easy on yourself when no one's around to see it, but every time you choose discipline over comfort in those solitary moments, you're investing in the person you want to become. It's about being consistent, even when there's no external pressure. It's about being the kind of guy who keeps his word, especially to himself. So the next time you find yourself alone, think of it as a test. No audience, no likes, no applause, just you versus you. Use that time to practice discipline, not because anyone else will notice, but because you will. You'll notice that, over time, those small decisions start to add up. And that's how you turn solitude from a place of loneliness into a powerhouse for personal growth. After all, the most rewarding battles are the ones we win with ourselves. In a world where everything beeps, buzzes, and vibrates for your attention, keeping focus is almost a superpower. Digital minimalism isn't just about deleting apps, it's about choosing how you spend your attention, your most precious currency. Less time scrolling means more time cultivating discipline. It's like decluttering your mental workspace so you can truly concentrate on what matters. No more endless notifications, just clear focus on your goals. Think about it like this. Your phone can either be a tool or a trap. The more you reduce the noise, unfollow accounts that drain you, disable notifications that interrupt, the more control you gain over your time. This is where discipline starts to shine. You're not just reacting to the next ping or buzz, you're actively deciding where your energy goes. That's empowering, and it makes every disciplined choice that much easier to make. Digital minimalism and discipline go hand in hand. When your screen is no longer a black hole sucking up every spare second, you're left with something valuable, time and mental space. Suddenly, reading, working out, or just reflecting becomes possible. The more you minimize the unnecessary, the more consistent you can be with your habits. This consistency is what turns discipline into an unshakable part of your routine, showing up every day without excuses. So, try simplifying your digital world. Start small. Maybe mute those group chats or cut down on social media time. Watch as each small change leads to a clearer mind, one that's ready to focus on what truly matters. It's all about creating an environment where discipline can thrive, free from distractions. And who knew the key to that might just be fewer cat videos and more real moments of growth. Solitude can feel like a challenge, especially in a world that keeps shouting that you should always be socializing or hustling. But solitude is also a goldmine for building consistency. When it's just you, alone with your thoughts, there's no one else to impress, only yourself to hold accountable. This is the ideal space to develop that quiet, steady discipline. It's not about grand gestures, but about showing up for yourself, day in and day out. Consistency is the secret ingredient to real growth, and solitude gives you the perfect conditions to foster it. With no one watching, there's no pressure to perform. Instead, you get to decide genuinely if you're going to be disciplined today. It's in these alone moments, free from distractions, that habits are truly built. Whether it's committing to a workout, a reading habit, or spending time away from your phone, these choices made in solitude form the backbone of a disciplined life. And let's be real, consistency isn't always exciting. It's not the stuff of dramatic movie montages. It's more like the scene where the character is quietly practicing, failing, and then trying again. When you're alone, you realize that the small, mundane actions done consistently are what add up over time. Solitude strips away the need for validation from others and teaches you to find motivation within. It's about taking pride in the quiet victories. So, the next time you're alone, look at it as an opportunity, not a burden. Use that time to create a schedule, set small daily goals, and then stick to them. You'll notice how each tiny promise kept builds on itself. Eventually, what once felt like a struggle starts becoming second nature. That's the power of turning solitude into a launchpad for consistency and growth. One small disciplined action at a time. We often talk about discipline as if it's this magical trait some people are just born with. But the truth is, discipline is really the child of consistency. The secret to becoming disciplined is simple. Just show up, every day, no matter what. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not about big wins or sudden transformations. It's about doing the unexciting stuff over and over until it's just part of who you are. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush just once and call it a lifetime achievement. You do it every day without even thinking. That's how you need to approach discipline. Whether it's exercising, meditating, or cutting back on endless scrolling, the goal is to keep showing up for yourself, even on the days you're tired or unmotivated. It's the small actions repeated consistently that lead to those overnight successes everyone talks about. And sure, staying consistent can be tough, especially when you're not seeing immediate results. The trick is to focus less on the outcome and more on the process. You don't hit the gym expecting to see a six-pack by the end of the week. You go because you're committed to being a healthier version of yourself. Consistency is like watering a plant. You may not see growth right away, but every drop counts, and one day you'll notice the change. So, when the excitement fades and discipline feels like a drag, remember that consistency is what makes it unbreakable. Create routines that are realistic. Start small, build gradually, and celebrate the progress, even if it feels tiny. Over time, consistency will turn into a habit, and that habit will transform into the kind of discipline that no setback can shake. It's all about trusting the process and knowing that every small step forward counts. They say how you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. And honestly, they're not wrong. Those first 30 minutes after waking up are like the golden window for discipline. When you take control right from the get-go, no snooze button, no endless phone scrolling, you're already winning. It's in these early moments that you decide whether the day will work for you or against you. Discipline in the morning isn't about being superhuman. It's about making those simple, consistent choices that set you up for success. Imagine waking up and jumping straight into something that makes you feel good. Maybe a quick workout, a cold shower to shock the sleep away, or just a few deep breaths to clear the fog. Whatever it is, it's about showing up for yourself before anyone else gets a piece of your attention. These morning habits are small but mighty, because they build momentum. And once you have that momentum, the rest of your day can't help but fall in line. The great thing about a disciplined morning routine is that it simplifies everything else. It's like you're telling your brain, hey, we've got this, and your brain just kind of agrees. Discipline breeds discipline. When you start your day with intention, it becomes easier to carry that energy through the day. Whether it's sticking to your work schedule or hitting the gym in the evening, those initial 30 minutes give you a head start, like a cheat code for being consistent. And look, you don't have to go all out with a 2-hour morning ritual that includes yoga, journaling, and green smoothies. Start simple. Wake up on time, make your bed, do one thing that matters to you. The key is to make it doable so you actually stick to it. Over time, those early choices stack up, and before you know it, discipline becomes a natural part of who you are, setting you up for more productive and fulfilling days. Solitude often gets a bad reputation, But what if I told you it could be your secret weapon for self-discipline? Intentional solitude isn't about feeling lonely. It's about deliberately choosing time alone to sharpen your focus and grow stronger internally. Think of it as a kind of mental gym session where you remove distractions and just work on you. Choosing to be alone on purpose can help you build discipline because it creates space for you to reflect and realign with your goals without all the outside noise. When you intentionally carve out alone time, you have a chance to be real with yourself. There's no one around to impress, no expectations to meet, just you and your own thoughts. That's when you can really see where you're at, what's working, and what needs changing. And it's in those honest moments that discipline starts to take root. You decide that instead of letting the day control you, you're going to control it. Whether it's practicing a skill, hitting a fitness goal, or just reading to better yourself, those quiet, focused moments make all the difference. The beauty of intentional solitude is that it allows for deep work. With no buzzing notifications, no social media rabbit holes, you can really dig in and concentrate on what matters. This kind of focus helps you be more consistent, and consistency is the key to unbreakable discipline. Imagine using this time not to binge watch yet another show, but to do something that genuinely moves the needle for you. That's powerful. So the next time you find yourself alone, embrace it. Use that quiet to practice something meaningful, even if it's just taking 15 minutes to meditate or write down your thoughts. It's not about isolation. It's about creating an environment where discipline can grow without distraction. Over time, these intentional moments of solitude will build an inner strength that sticks, no matter what the world throws at you. We live in a world where our phones are like needy toddlers, always demanding attention, never giving us a moment of peace. Digital minimalism is the practice of telling that toddler to chill for a while. It's about taking back control of your attention so you can actually focus on building discipline. When you're not constantly distracted by notifications, you suddenly have more mental space to think, plan, and most importantly, follow through on what really matters. Imagine your mind as a cluttered room. Digital minimalism is like decluttering that space, making it easier to navigate. Fewer distractions mean fewer excuses not to stick to your goals. When you reduce the time you spend scrolling endlessly or jumping between apps, you create room for something more valuable: consistency. This kind of mental clarity helps make disciplined actions like exercising or sticking to a work routine feel less like a battle and more like a natural flow. The trick to digital minimalism isn't necessarily going cold turkey on your gadgets. It's more about being intentional with how you use them. Unfollow accounts that don't bring value, turn off notifications that break your focus, and set boundaries for screen time. Every little step you take towards minimizing digital clutter makes it easier to stay disciplined in other areas. It's about making technology work for you, not the other way around. By letting go of the unnecessary noise, you make space for what really counts. Suddenly, you've got time to read that book, go for a walk, or just be present. That's where discipline really thrives, not in the chaos, but in the calm. It's amazing how much stronger your discipline becomes when your attention isn't being pulled in 1,000 different directions. So, give digital minimalism a try and watch as it strengthens your focus and empowers every other area of your life. Let's be real. Staying disciplined when results are slow can feel like dragging yourself through wet cement. We all want instant gratification, like working out for a week and suddenly looking like a superhero. But real growth doesn't work that way. Discipline is about showing up, even when it feels like nothing's happening. It's the small, consistent actions that add up, even if the results are taking their sweet time to show up. When you're consistent, you're investing in your future self. Each time you push through the boredom or frustration, you're building something that's much stronger than any quick win. It's about learning to appreciate the process, seeing the value in the daily grind. And let's face it, discipline isn't about feeling motivated all the time. It's about acting even when motivation is nowhere to be found. That's where consistency becomes your greatest tool. Think of consistency like planting seeds. You won't see anything at first, maybe not even for a long while. But if you keep watering those seeds, showing up, doing the work, they eventually grow. It's easy to feel discouraged when results aren't immediate, but remember, all that effort is adding up beneath the surface. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Not because you did one big thing, but because you kept doing the small things, day after day. So, when discipline feels pointless and results are slow, remind yourself why you started in the first place. Keep the focus on those daily wins, the ones that seem tiny but matter the most. Discipline is less about perfection and more about resilience. It's about getting back up every time you fall and being proud of each step, no matter how small. Over time, those steps add up, and that's when real, lasting change happens. Sometimes, solitude feels like a drag. It can be boring, even a bit lonely. But here's the thing. Solitude can actually be your secret weapon for growth. Think of it as your personal training ground. When you're alone, there are no distractions, no people pulling you in different directions. It's just you, your thoughts, and the chance to get real about what you want. That's when discipline really starts to take shape, because you're left with this simple choice. Do I follow through, or do I let myself off the hook? Solitude is when you have the freedom to build habits that make you stronger. Whether it's getting up early, sticking to a workout plan, or taking the time to read and learn something new, alone time is where you prove to yourself that you're serious. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else thinks when you're constantly surrounded by people. But when it's just you, the only opinion that matters is yours. It's about deciding to become the person you promised yourself you'd be. Being disciplined in solitude is also a way to show yourself that you're enough. You don't need an audience to validate your efforts. The work you do alone, those early morning runs, those moments when you push away distractions, that's where the real growth happens. When nobody's watching, and you still choose to stick to your goals, that's when you're truly building an unbreakable foundation for your best self. So, next time you find yourself with some alone time, don't see it as something to avoid or fill with distractions. Use it as a chance to double down on your discipline. Take on the little challenges that no one else will see but you. Because, in the end, the only person you're really competing against is yourself. And every time you win that battle, you're transforming solitude into a superpower that drives you towards being the best version of you. We often think of discipline as restrictive, like a set of rules we impose on ourselves. But here's the twist. Real discipline actually sets you free. It's about having control over your choices, instead of letting endless digital distractions make those choices for you. Imagine all the time you spend scrolling through social media, checking notifications, or getting lost in a rabbit hole of videos. Now imagine taking that time back. That's what digital minimalism and discipline can do. They give you your life back. Less digital clutter means more focus on what truly matters. When you cut down on the noise, you find yourself with space for things that actually bring value, like learning a new skill, improving your health, or just enjoying real, undisturbed moments. It's about choosing to live in a way where you're not constantly pulled in 1,000 different directions by algorithms designed to keep you hooked. Instead, you decide where your time and energy go. And that's what real freedom looks like. The beauty of digital minimalism is that it pairs perfectly with discipline. When you decide to limit your screen time or remove unnecessary apps, you're building a habit of control. This kind of discipline helps you stay consistent in other parts of your life too, like your fitness goals or personal projects. It's all connected. Fewer distractions lead to better focus, and better focus helps you stay committed to the things that really matter. So if you want more freedom, start by taking a hard look at your digital habits. Set boundaries, turn off notifications, and decide when and why you use your devices. By practicing digital minimalism, you're not just decluttering your screen, you're making space for discipline to grow. And with that discipline comes a kind of freedom that no app can give you. The freedom to be fully present and in charge of your own life.